Hello everybody. Our presentation introduces the process of creating the national activity and price data model based on the PURE activity classification related to the implementation of the National Research Hub in Finland. The National Research Hub, which is available on the address research.fi, was launched by the Ministry of Education and Culture in June 2020 and will be developed in phases. The hub is commissioned by the Ministry and the operational actor is CSC IT Center for Scientific Computing in Finland, which builds the research hub and portal. The aim of the hub is to improve the availability of information and experts on research and to increase the visibility of information, and social impact of Finnish research. It is a sort of community portal which combines the resources of several universities and research organizations in Finland and showcases them to the wider audience. At the moment, the hub contains information on different research-related resources, for instance, publications, projects, research infrastructure, funding, datasets, and organizations by the Finnish universities and research organizations. In addition, the hub presents the Finnish research and innovation system and related figures. News from different research organizations are integrated into the hub. This is the hub's portal homepage. Those sections that are marked with bold are already included in the hub, and those with gray color, for instance, people and other research activities sections, will be completed next year. Here we have detailed information of the elements in the hub. This schedule describes the data integration development of the hub. As you can see in the picture, the implementation of the hub is an enormous effort of different partners. The data is integrated from the different sources. For instance, publication data is integrated from the National Virta publication register, which already exists. Funding decisions are synchronized from different funders, for instance, Academy of Finland, Business Finland, EU, and foundations. And research data will be harvested from the National Data Service, METAX, and other sources. In 2021, researcher profiles and activity and price data will be data from universities and research organizations will be integrated into the hub. The inclusion of researcher profiles with activity and price information and a building of well-functioning consent process is the most important part of the hub. The law on the National Research Hub is under preparation and scheduled to come into effect in 2021. If the law comes into effect, then the researchers' data can be imported into the Research Hub and the permission of a researcher is not needed. But the researcher's permission is needed to show the data in the portal. The hub has created a consent management tool, and the researcher can give a consent to display the data and pass it on and choose what information and from which source the information is displayed. And the ORCID ID is the prerequisite for the researcher's profile. In addition, those researchers that have no employment will manage their profiles in the consent management tool. And Ministry of Education and Culture is responsible for the data. During this year, the national data model for activities and prices have been updated to address the requirements of the hub. All data models in the hub are serif compatible to ensure the interoperability of the system. The National Research Data Model is maintained by the Ministry of Education and Culture and CSC. The maintenance will be transferred to the Finnish Association of Research Managers and Advisors, so-called FinArma network. The FinArma data modeling group produces the definitions of the activities and prices. The definitions are published in the Research Management Vocabulary on sanasto.suomi.fi platform. The data modeling group consists of CRIS managers and other experts in the research management area. We in the group used to compare the definitions of concepts with the vocabulary of Kassarai, but this vocabulary is not available anymore for the users outside the Kassarai community. In the creation of the National Data Model for Activities and Prices, the Pure data model has formed the basis of the national model. Naturally, the data models of other research information systems are taken into account as well. And this graph showcases the different partners in the creation of the National Data Model for Activity and Price. The steering group for the National Research Hub, and under it, the Researchers Information Group are essential actors in the creation of the model. The operational work has been done in cooperation between the CSC and Data Modeling Group of FinArma. The interoperability is essential in the data flows into the hub. The vocabulary codes and data models are maintained on the National Interoperability Platform, which is maintained by the Digital and Population Data Services Agency in Finland and have been opened for everyone. And this activity and price model is part of the researchers' information component library on the platform. These screenshots are taken from the platform and its vocabulary tool. On the left side, there are types and roles of activity and price, and on the right, there is a screenshot from the visualization of the concept activity in the research management vocabulary. This information is freely available on the platform, so please visit the platform if you want to more information. The screenshots are not clear enough to get detailed information. The vocabulary classification and roles have been translated into English. The classification is in line with the definitions of the national CV template called TenxCV. And then the classification, the types of activity and price of the national data model are on the left side. On the right side is the current classification in Aalto University's ACRIS Pure system. The classification is mostly in line with Pure. The names and roles might be slightly different, but the content is mostly the same. There are some elements in the national data model that are in the different sections of the Pure system, for instance, supervising and leadership in research work. So that had to be taken into account when the activities and prices will be transferred into the National Research Hub from CRIS systems. So from our experiences in this kind of national cooperation work, it is very essential to take part in the development work, even if you had to spend your working time on it. You are able to give feedback to the hub developers that what is realistic, and you are able to have impact on the features or the properties of the system so that the organizations don't need to do a lot of changes in their own systems. So thank you for attention.
Thank you, Leena, for this overview. I'm wondering a little bit, you talked shortly about the process of how you got to these mappings and ideas and how to build this data models. Could you perhaps tell us a little bit about how did you, from the organizational side, get these data models together? I mean, you are using Pure, there might be other institutions using other CRIS systems or only other data models and vocabularies. How did you organize that to come to a consent?
The slide that described the organization of the data model development work, there was the researchers information group, which is under the steering group of the National Research Hub, and that group was the main operator in the development work, so that there were representatives from different information systems, CRIS systems. For instance, we have Converis system in Finland and also a Finnish Solekris system. So the basic work was made there, and we have this data modeling group, and there are also system managers from different research information systems. So those two groups were the main operators, and we tried to get the model working and to listen to the different opinions related to the different classes. It is not very easy to do, but because we have universities that there are, for instance, arts and design, and then we have technological universities, and then with the universities with wide range of different disciplines. So we had to try to find the solutions.
There is, I have to imagine this as that these groups have somehow collected ideas, tried to find solutions, and then passed it on to the institutions who are meant to work with it, and picked up complaints, ideas, criticism to form a working model at the end. Is that right?
Yes, and we worked under the steering group of National Research Hub. So the Ministry of Education and Culture is managing the whole work. So I think the steering group was the main operator which made decisions. we had to take into account that we already have this activity classification in our information systems. All CRIS systems have some kind of classification, so we combined those different classifications, so we didn't start from scratch with this work.
Thank you. There is a question concerning your work as a whole. Have you had interest from any other national hubs or organizations who want to benefit from your experience?
No, we haven't cooperated with other groups, but please free to take contact, and you are able to use those resources that are available, freely available on our interoperability platform, and you are able to use those resources. They are all translated into English, so if you want use the concepts, we have about 200 to 300 concepts there related to research activities, and we would like to hear if the concepts are in line with your ideas. So.
Yeah, this sounds like a very broad basis one could rely on if one wants to work further or adapt it for other use cases. You told us that the researchers, or it was on one of your slides, I think, that the researchers have to approve to being displayed in the hub. Are there any incentives for this, or is it perhaps more or less obligatory to do so in Finland? Can you perhaps tell us a little bit about that?
I think it is obligatory in every country, so in Europe, because we have this kind of legislation that we had to keep the personal information so that the researchers give the consent to display. So then there will be this law on National Research Hub, which would make it easier to maintain the data in the hub.
Yes, and our, of course, we are underlying these restrictions too. So it's obvious we need an approval from the scientists to display the data. Mm-hmm. But is there anything you do to encourage them to approve to their data being displayed?
Yes, we are promoting at the universities the research hub, and hope that as many researchers as possible would publish their data on the hub, and the visibility is the main incentive, I suppose, and to get more cooperation with other researchers and to get the information available and visible. That is the main incentive for researchers.
Thank you, Leena, for all your explanations.